Okay, my name is Dawn Montefusco, and this is Write Because It Matters. Today I have Dawn Celepino, author of Jack's Journey USA. She's also the owner of Leash Your Fitness, which helps people incorporate their dog in all areas of fitness, from fitness classes with your dog to outdoor activities, and she even does doggy yoga, which she'll tell us more about. Recently, she's been on CNN, Wall Street Journal has written about her, Women's Health magazine's written about her, and she even appeared on Animal Planet. In her recent travels and research for her book, she's traveled to 25 different states with Jack in order to help other people learn how to travel with their dog. And again, her book is called Jack's Journey USA. Hi, Dawn.
Hi, how are you?
Good. Hi, Jack.
Hi. He's like, now what?
He's like, I'm tired. I'm the star. Hi. So tell us a little bit about starting your business, Leash Your Fitness. How did that come about?
Well, everything I've been doing for the last 11 years is because of this dog right here. I got Jack 11 years ago. He's 11, and my whole world changed. I was actually going to school at the time and working corporate fitness, and I never wanted to leave Jack at home alone. And I never wanted to leave him because I just loved him so much. So I started taking him with me everywhere I went. And at the time, like I said, I was doing corporate fitness. I was working in different venues. And at first, everybody was pretty cool about letting me bring Jack. But then they were like, well, there's really no dogs allowed. So one by one, I quit all of my corporate jobs. And I started taking all my clients outside so I could take Jack with me. And then a lot of them had dogs. So I just started incorporating their dogs in their workouts.
Wow.
And they loved it, because most people that hire a personal trainer don't want to work, they don't want to work out. So adding their dogs took their mind off of it. They really enjoyed it. I'm going to put him down.
Okay.
And so, when I realized that they were liking it so much, I was like, I think I'm onto something here. If they like it so much, then maybe other people will as well. And so that's why Leash Your Fitness was born, basically because I didn't want to leave my dog alone. So when I went to the gym to work out, and so I figured others wouldn't as well, and it paid off. We've seen amazing improvements with the dog and the people and their bond.
That's great.
So it's been really fun.
Awesome. And so then you were doing this, and I read your parts of your book. You had some aha moment. So the business was going well, and then all of a sudden there was this next level, which I think happens to a lot of people when it comes to book writing, is they get an idea. And so where was that aha moment for you on writing the book?
Well, writing the book came because, so I've been doing this for a long time. I've been doing it since 2009, my business. And I get people calling me from all over the country, actually all over the world. I helped a girl in Amsterdam start a business.
Nice.
They call me to find out what is working for me, because I do so many different things. I do the boot camp classes. That's what I started with. And now we do dog yoga. We actually set the world record for having the largest dog yoga class. We had 250 dogs in our class to prove that the dog reads your energy. So if you're calm, your dog will be calm. So we had 250 dogs in a yoga class, and it was like a Sunday church service. It was so quiet.
Wow.
So we do that. So then when I used to camp all the time. So when my classes were on Sundays, I could never go camping anymore. So I thought, well, if I want to go camping, I'm just going to take everybody with me. So it started into camping trips with your dogs, and then hiking with your dogs, and then kayaking with your dogs. And now we do paddleboarding with your dogs. So all this started happening, and then all these people from all over the country are calling me to help them get started. Well, about a year ago, it was actually exactly 2 years ago, I was on a hike with Jack, and I thought, wouldn't it be cool to travel around the country and just inspire people to do stuff with their dogs? I mean, I hear it all the time. I never thought about doing that with my dog, and I'm like, why not? So that's how it inspired the book. Was all through doing this for, since 2009, I've seen so many transformations with people and their dogs, and just people that would never ever go kayaking, they go because they want to try it with their dogs.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's really cool. Or, I didn't want to go to the gym and leave my dog, so I'm going to come to your class. That way I can incorporate everything. So it's making people try new things and meet new people and meet this bonding with all these people that, have that similar interest.
And you were writing a blog.
Yeah.
So you're already writing. And then, so you were writing, you write on your website, you write Jack's Journey blog through now, but then when you got the aha to write the book, did someone tell you should write a book, or did you go, whoa, I should write a book?
Yeah, well, when I did the trip last year to inspire other people to work out with their dogs, I'm a single woman traveling with my dog in an RV. Okay, I had just bought the RV not even a year prior, so it was just like, so many women were like, oh my God, I've always wanted to do that, but I was afraid to travel by myself. Or you hear people saying, I want to do that when I retire. Well, my thing is, why wait? Why not just do it? So the more I kept hearing that from everybody, I'm like, you know what? This is the next step to inspiring people. I want to write a book about it, so hopefully that will inspire other people to do it. And then that's what people kept saying. Like, when I realized it was pretty cool what I did, and like so many people couldn't believe what I did, and people kept saying, wow, you should write a book about that. I was like, okay.
That's great. And you had journaled every day.
Yeah, I had journaled the entire time, so we kind of had a following that was following us on the journey. We started in San Diego on April 28th, and we traveled all the way up to Maine.
Wow.
All the way back.
What time of year?
So we started in April, and we were back by the middle of July.
Gotcha, that's right.
And Jack we've already traveled. So Jack's been in 34 states so far. And so I'm trying to get him in all the different states. And he has swam in every state he's been in. He's swam in that.
Wow.
State. So we travel a lot. And so I've already traveled, different ways. Sometimes I camp. Sometimes I stay in hotels. But this was the first time I, took an RV, 10,000 miles by myself.
Wow.
So it was pretty cool.
So from what I remember your book, you got the idea and you committed to the idea of at least traveling with the dog and journaling it, right? To do research to see what it would be like to travel with a dog. Yeah. And through that, you discovered that when you committed to this idea that you got the aha moment from, everything started to fit into place. Yeah,
it was almost creepy sometimes. I got the idea 2 years ago. I was at in Solvang, California, and Jack and I were on a hike that we had never been on. And we got to the top of this mountain, and on one side was a lake, and you turn around, and the other side was the ocean. And it was just like, oh my gosh, This is so cool.
Yeah.
So I was sitting up there going, wouldn't it be cool to travel around the country and just hike with Jack and try to inspire other people to do these incredible things? Because we live in an incredible country. People don't realize it.
We do.
And literally, I was driving home from that weekend, and I have a business coach. I called her when I got home, and I told her about it. And she's like, write out a plan. Let's do it.
Nice.
It was crazy and I was like, okay. The next week, I started looking for RVs. And it was just crazy and I talk about this in the book.
Yeah.
Because it's just almost ridiculous how things just kept falling into place.
Mm-hmm.
And then at one point I finally had to just let it go and just let them fall into place and get my control freak hat off and just let it happen, because it was happening.
Nice.
And it was kind of liberating when that happened. It was like, okay, I can just have fun.
What I love about the book is it kind of has not just the story about how to travel with your dog, not just the cute excerpts. You have these excerpts where Jack actually talks about, how he's feeling. You have these incredible details about what it means to commit to an idea and how things just fall into place, which is so inspiring, because with all the information we have and the internet and everything, we get so bogged down thinking we have to know every single step of the way, when really we just need to commit and take that first step. So there's another theme to the book that I like, which is how to follow your dream and trust it. Which
I'm glad you like that, because I've read other books about how people have done things, and I always wonder when I'm reading them, how did they make that happen? You know what I mean? So that's why I included that in my book, because I read a lot, and so when I'm reading, I'm always wondering that, like, how did they just quit everything they were doing and take this trip around the world? You know what I mean? So that's why I included it. So I kind of did the step-by-step thing, is this is what it took to do this, and it all fell into place.
That's awesome. And how do you think writing a book, first, I remember you mentioned that you didn't you liked the journal writing and the blog writing, but when it came to actually sitting down and writing the book, there was some resistance.
Yeah.
And you had to come up with some tricks on how to stay focused.
Yeah, I don't sit still very well. I'm a fitness instructor. And so for me to sit down, even when I did even when I did my blog on my trip, Jack wrote it. So it's from Jack, the whole blog on my trip is from Jack's perspective.
Wow.
So I did the whole thing from Jack's perspective. And so yeah, for me to sit down and just type up a book, I had to go away to do it. Because for me to commit, I mean, everyone's different, but that's for me. I just needed to have no distractions. Mm-hmm. And again, everything fell into place because every time I went away in my RV with Jack and I was say, I'm going to go away this weekend and write. It was just weird because I don't plan things. I just kind of take off in my RV and end up wherever. Both like 2 or 3 times I went, I ended up with places with no cell service, no internet access. One time it rained. So it was like, once again, the universe was saying, just sit down and do this. Yeah. It was just crazy. There were no distractions, no excuses.
That's great. No distractions, no excuses. I like that. And how do you work with a business coach. What's the benefit that you foresee now that you finished the book for your business?
You know what? My business basically right now is really centered in San Diego. And like I said, I do help people around the country. I help fitness instructors and dog trainers and just people that just want to change career or just love both those things. I help them get started in the business, but I'm not really a business coach. Mm-hmm. I foresee it helping my business, and I want to inspire more globally for people to try new things. Mm-hmm. Just to try everything. Like, for instance, if you don't mind, I just want to tell one quick story from the book. When I was camping in Maine, when I pulled in, I was traveling in a bright yellow RV with Jack's Journey all over it and pictures of him and I doing stuff. So it got some attention. Yeah. So we pulled in next to this couple, and they came over and they're like, we're really, curious about this. So I was telling them about my trip and stuff. And at the time I had took an inflatable paddleboard with me. So I was inflating my paddleboard, and they were going to go rent a kayak. So they rented a kayak, and we actually ended up hanging out together. So I was paddleboarding and they were kayaking on this river. So I said, why didn't you bring your dog? And they had never done it before. So this was like their trial kayak, and they were going to do it the next day. And I'm like, why don't you take your dog with you? And they're like, we never even thought about taking our dog. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, they were like, we don't think he likes water. I'm like, well, that's even better, because if he doesn't like water, he won't jump out of the kayak.
Oh, right.
And so I inspired them to finally to take their dog. We were gone the entire day. Wow. And we kayaked all the way up to this lake. So before the end of the day, that dog had been in a kayak. We got him in the water. He learned how to swim. Wow. I got him on my paddleboard. If I wouldn't have been there, they would have left that dog in the trailer. They wouldn't have known, not on purpose, but they would have left him in their camper all day. Yeah. And the dog would have missed out on all that fun.
Wow.
You know what I mean? So to me, it gives me goosebumps to just know. And the dog was such a cool dog, and they had just gotten the dog a couple weeks prior. So this dog just experienced all this fun with his new parents, and it was just awesome. So that's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping that helps my business to grow in that aspect, that I can reach way more people.
Mm-hmm. And you were talking about the inflatable paddleboard. One of the things that you did was you asked for sponsors when you were going on your trip. So I was impressed that you with the list of how many people wanted to help you do the trip, and then obviously use their gear, and food and snacks and things like that.
Yeah, so all you got to do is ask. I mean, a lot of people say no because it wasn't a proven concept. Like, who was I? I'm traveling around the country. How was I going to get the word out about their, everyone wants the word out about their product. Mm-hmm. But a lot of people were like, yeah, this is really cool, and so they just trusted me. And I did everything I could because I believed in their product. I didn't ask anybody whose product that I didn't use or love.
Yeah.
And so, I sold a ton of paddleboards because I believed in the product.
That's awesome. So now it's publishing, right? Publishing time, self-publishing, which I know that that's your next research project, really. There's definitely, the book is done, which honestly I think is the hardest part. When you have the content, you can market it all over the place, but having the content, having the book done also establishes you as an expert. And from what I understand, it's very unique. There's not another dog fitness coach that wrote a book about traveling with their dog. I think So
there's been other people that have traveled with their dogs, but from what I see, their travel hasn't been like Jack and I. I mean, we climbed the tallest mountain in Colorado, the second tallest mountain in the country.
Wow.
You know, our whole entire trip was about being active.
Wow.
So everywhere we went, we found water, we found hiking trails, you know, we found stuff to do that was active. And I talk about in there, like, which national parks are, you know, that you can take your dogs to.
Oh,
so
great.
it was all about being together. It wasn't about me leaving Jack in the RV and going out and doing stuff. It was, we were together 24/7.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's great. And it's a great time to bond with your animal too. I think there's a trust that's deeper, at least when I take my dog. She loves the outdoors, and there's a bonding that happens outdoors that's different than happening inside.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Jack and I are like, it's kind of weird. Like, we just understand each other.
Yeah.
You know,
so what are the next steps for self-publishing that you'd want to let the audience know, in terms of, don't worry about it, there's lots of information out there, or hire a coach, or, you're in that stage that a lot of people will find themselves in. They didn't want to write. They had lots of resistance. From what I'm hearing, no distraction, no excuses. It's fun. People want to read it. I think that in terms of write because it matters, it does matter. Like, this book matters.
You know what? I think that everybody has a story in them. And I don't care if you get your story out, because your story is going to help somebody. Even if it helps one person, somebody is going to relate to that story. And, I was reading a blog the other day about, in the blog, that the lady was saying how people come up to her and say they're afraid to travel by themselves, or, they're just afraid of everything, basically. Well, it's okay to be afraid, but you got to step out of that fear and just start small. And just, like, it wasn't like as soon as I bought the RV, I traveled 10,000 miles. I did little weekend trips. I traveled up to Oregon. I did, little things first to make sure I was comfortable. And then I just went for it. I mean, what's going to happen? If the RV breaks down, then I get it fixed, So, we live in an era that there's so much information. So if someone's afraid to write a book, just research it. There's tons of research, tons of information out there about self-publishing and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. That's going to be the fun part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know about that, but, ever since I started my business, I mean, people don't know what all goes behind the scenes in a business, but it's constant learning, constant. First, I had to learn how to do a website, then a blog, then social media. And then it's not just about me showing up and training people and their dogs. It's about all the other stuff. And writing a book is no different. You can write it, but then you got to, just find out how to do the publishing and formatting and all that stuff. But it's fun. It's fun because you're using your brain and you're learning something new.
Is there one trick for writing when you really didn't want to write? So there was a day where, man, oh man, you were just not feeling it, and then you learned how to push past that to make sure that the writing got done. And what I'm hearing is you did most of your writing on the weekends. Was it daily?
No, most of them was, like I said, I would go away for the weekend. Whenever I could take my RV. That was the RV that I traveled in, so it was inspiring in itself. And I would go away with Jack camping. So we'd hike in the morning and then I'd write. I would say to commit to somebody. So that was the big one was, I had, I was almost done with it. I sent it to my first editor. She edited it, and then I just needed to finish it. We did a kind of like a goal setting thing, and it was like, okay, by this date, I'm going to be done, or I'm going to pay my boyfriend's half of the rent this month.
That's great. Like a bet.
So make yourself say, okay, if I don't do this, then I got to do this, and it's something that you don't want to do.
Yeah.
Give up coffee or something, or give up chocolate. It's something you don't want to do, so you're going to finish this thing that you're procrastinating on.
Yeah.
Now, that worked for me.
That's great. Actually, that works for some of my clients too. Reward system or punishment. But they pick it. They pick what it is, and it becomes kind of a fun game.
I do not want to have to do that.
Yeah.
I'm going to do this. I'm just going to finish it. And most of the time, it's just because it's procrastination. that's all it is. It's like, oh, I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it tomorrow. Well, guess what? Tomorrow might not ever come.
Right.
So, and you know what? This is another crazy story. When I was camping on one of these trips with Jack, I was out in the middle of nowhere, and it was during the week. Because a lot of times I'll go like do it like a end of the week to the weekend thing. And so him and I are hiking, and we're out in the middle of kind of nowhere. And you could see mountain lion tracks.
Wow.
And so we're out in the middle, and I'm thinking to myself, okay, if a mountain lion jumped down on me right now, this is kind of gruesome, but it's reality, and killed me, what is one thing that would flash in my head and I'd say, oh man, I wish I would have done that. You know, like if your life was going to end right now, what is it that you wish you would have done? You need to do that. Whatever that thing is, you need to do it now, because that could happen.
Yeah.
You could get hit by a car. I mean, you don't want to ever think about those things.
Yeah.
But it can happen. So
that's awesome. Thank you for that. I got touched by that just now. I'm like, whoa, I'm going to spend my day thinking, like, making a list of my mountain lion, I'll call it a mountain lion list.
And that's what I did to my coaching group. I put it in there. I'm like, I titled it Mountain Lion.
Wow.
Jump down on you right now. What is the last thing that's flashing through your mind? Because it happens all the time.
That's great.
It does. And people put off, and then they're on their deathbed saying, I wish I would have done this.
Yeah.
You know, and it's really sad.
Well, good for you. You're such an inspiration. Tell us a little more where we can find you and a little bit about your free gift.
Okay, so you can find me. Everything that we do is on Leash, like a dog leash, yourfitness.com. So Jack's Journey USA blog is on there. And then we also have blogs on different ways you can work out with your dog, and different, Jack does, now it's called Jack's Adventures. So he'll do adventures and try to inspire other people to try these things. And even if you're not here in San Diego, you can try them in wherever you live. And we always have exercises on there as well. So it's Leash, like a dog leash, yourfitness.com. And then also the book, the pre-order of the book will be on there. And then for the free gift, we're going to give away 10 things that you can do to prepare to travel with your dog.
Oh, nice.
Whether it's a weekend away or a trip or anything, things that you need to think about.
That's great.
Medications, extra leashes, all that kind of stuff. So
that's awesome. I always forget things, so it's nice to have lists that I can go to and understand.
Yeah. Well, a lot of people don't realize also that dogs aren't allowed everywhere. Like a lot of the national parks, dogs aren't allowed in. So they don't think about that. They're like, oh, I'm going to take my dog to Yellowstone. Well, guess what? You're not allowed to take your dog on any of the trails there.
Wow.
But some of them you are and some of them you aren't. So we kind of, just things like that to think about.
That's great.
On the blog, we have homemade dog treat recipes and all that kind of stuff.
Oh, great.
So.
Well, thanks so much. I can't wait to read the rest of your book. And I'll be checking back on your site to see what I can do with my dog.
Okay.
And thanks, Dawn. That was
Thanks,
great.
Dawn.
Okay, this is Dawn Montefusco with Write Because It Matters, and signing off. Thanks and bye.
Bye-bye.